To you, he may be Longlegs. To me, he's Arcadian. Eh, Actually, I think his name in here is Paul. Anyway, I'm John Stark from ActionMovieGuy.com. I'm a blind film critic, and I'm going to talk about Arcadian, which is a Shudder title. And it's got audio description. It's done by Audio Eyes. It's narrated by Michael Grossman and written by Rick Boggs. So we're gonna get into that. First, I want to say I've got my purple hat on backwards, like I do in a lot of my videos, and I have my black sunglasses on. I'm wearing an Amazon The Boys t-shirt. So, you know, um, this is just like an alien creature feature horror film that Shudder has. It's Nicolas Cage, Maxwell Jenkins, and Jaden Martell. Maxwell Jenkins, best known for Lost in Space, the reboot on Netflix. He was really good in that. Jaden Martell, I believe, was in Dear Edward, which I actually really liked as that show. I was really disappointed that show got canceled after one season. So I've seen them both do solid performances, and here they are really carrying the weight of this movie. I know it's got Nicolas Cage branded on front of it. It really is their movie. This is one of those films where it's more about like the next generation, and he plays their father that's there to like give wisdom. I can think of like After Earth being, if like you showed up for Will Smith, well, you're gonna get Jaden. So I mean, Will's in it, but I'm not saying like the same things happen to Will that happened to Nicolas Cage in this either, but there's a similarity there. He's there to offer his wisdom and to smoke cigars and teach kids about driving and vehicles and stuff like that. And sort of like later on in the film, the creatures show up. I think they showed them a little bit too early in this film. This takes place in an era when we've decimated the planet, pollution won, and those climate change deniers they lost. And the planet is so terrible that an alien race has come here and has decided that humans are the reason the planet sucks, and they're here to purge the planet of humans so that the planet can I don't know, heal itself. But the dad is optimistic. Nicolas Cage is optimistic because he's like, well, things are getting cleaner, and well, that's because like most people are dead. They live out in the middle of nowhere on like a rural farm, and they sort of like live off the earth. This film doesn't really do a great job of establishing the rules of like when we do and don't go out, and don't make noise and clap 3 times. Feed your Tamagotchi. It doesn't really do anything like that. There are creatures and they're going to come. And where are they? I don't know. What do they look like? That's kind of the audio description thing here. But there's also another family, and one of the sons has this sort of like relationship with this girl who lives with the other family. There are more people in this film. Actually, I think there's more people in this film than are actually currently credited on IMDb, which weirds me out because I'm like, I don't know how that happens. But I definitely felt like there were more people in this film than are in the cast on IMDb. So not much more. This is not a broadcast, but I think there's only like 6 people listed on IMDb, but I feel like they're like 10. So a couple of people, I guess, maybe their faces aren't shown or something. I don't know. Maybe they live constantly in shadow. So that way you don't know that there's actually another actor. They're all played by Nicolas Cage is what it is. He's such a transformative actor that he's playing every character who wasn't credited. So yeah, the thing is, this is a Shudder title, and Shudder serves like one purpose, and it's horror. So they're there to scare you. They are there to gross you out. They're there to, ratchet up the tension. Something like they want to do something. Like their whole purpose is there. They don't have rom-coms on Shudder. Like this is So they have a very specific purpose, and they have a fan base that is attached to that very specific purpose. The last Shudder title I remember seeing was Late Night with the Devil with audio description. I've also seen Baghead, which did not have audio description. I like to continue to call out AMC Plus for, I don't know why they make audio description, but then they don't put it on their own streaming service. Like they make it for theatrical release and VOD titles, but they won't make it for their own, and then they won't host it on their own. It's very weird. So yeah, I rented this, but um, it is currently available on AMC Plus if you are sighted and don't want to. You can just click on it. Lucky duck. This is a there are some creatures. I don't know. I don't really have a good grasp of what they look like. I kind of felt like I got surface level descriptions of these creatures, and not really like the hard hitting facts, the hard truth. Then there are like different sizes of them, and then so like when like the bigger creature comes in, I'm like, well, how much bigger? I'm big into like size relativity too. Like, please tell me this thing that has no purpose or um does not exist in the real world. What is it in relation to something that we would be able to understand? If you're going to tell me that there's a bigger creature, how much bigger? Is he taller than a person? Is he taller than the house? Is he taller than a dog? Like, what is bigger than, what does that mean to you? If I don't know how big everything is, then I don't know how scared to be of something, you know? For anybody who's seen Cloverfield, it would just be like if you described all of the monsters in that film the same, or like the giant ones that are walking over the city or whatever. You're like, those are the bigger versions of and obviously, like, because I used to be able to see, so obviously that's ridiculous. If you've seen Cloverfield, the little aliens are like running through the streets that they're running from through most of the film, and then the big ones that come in at the end, really different, two wildly different things. Like when they, like, towards the end of the film, you see like these big ass if they had just been like, and the bigger aliens come crashing in, and how much bigger? A fuckload bigger, just way bigger than what we've been encountering thus far. So yeah, I don't know. So I just felt like Rick's narration was kind of not horror appropriate. Like yeah, it's kind of lazy for what this is. And sort of purposeless, because again, this is what people sign up for when they click on a film like this. Most of the time it's like you read the genre, you know what it is, you've read the plot. And if you haven't, then you're just watching whatever and you don't care what it is, so you shouldn't be picking about, it being too gross or too scary or whatever like that. If you're just like, I just click on titles because they're pretty. I don't know. This just felt very soft for me. It felt like something that Shudder itself wouldn't have listened to, because I feel like Shudder, like the people at Shudder are like horror junkies, and I feel like they would have been like, but over here this person gets like ripped in half and their face gets thrown off and thrown on the wall, and you can see the face like on the wall for a while. Like, I don't know. I mean, they have some crazy shit that happens, and like something got ripped in half in like Late Night with the Devil. So it's just like shit happens. So I don't have no idea in this. I mean, like there are attacks. It tells me people are being attacked. There's one sort of like, I would say the best audio description in the film, the coolest thing that happened was when the girl, there's really only one girl in this, so if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. She goes in the bathroom. That was the best audio description that I found of anything that was like horrifying / creature-ish in this film. But other than that, I kind of thought this was like kind of like weak sauce. I've heard worse, by the way. I actually have heard, so I'm not going to say no, because I've heard stuff where I know that creatures or ghosts or whatever being shown on screen and not even being mentioned. So of titles that I saw visually myself, and I'm like, well, we just skipped over that. Okay. So yeah, it's this is just, I don't know. It could have been better. Um, the mix is fine. I didn't have a problem with the mix, and I don't have a problem with Micah. There are like, I feel like my 8 favorite narrators are my 8 favorite narrators because they do everything. So somebody like Micah can come along and, yeah, I support that. Do more work. Get your voice out there. Be heard. So I don't have a problem. I thought it was fine. Um, Obviously, I love William Michael Redmond the most for horror films, but that doesn't mean that like everybody can't be. I just don't want like goofy voices in horror films, and Micah doesn't have a goofy voice. He just kind of has like a very measured voice. Uh, so yeah, it was a nice balance for this. So and the whole film isn't like a nightmarish reality. It gets there eventually. Most like the beginning of the film is like farming simulator. So yeah, this is Arcadian, and check it out. Don't check it out. I think Nicolas Cage is wasted. I think especially when he's now at this point where he's like, I think I've only got like 3 or 4 films left in the tank, and it's like, please stop picking shit like Arcadian. Then, first of all, the role's not even that like big. It's not even like his thing. At least Longlegs, from what I've heard, even though I haven't seen it, feels like a Nicolas Cage thing. Like it feels like a role that I can see him basking in. I didn't see anything about this role for Nicolas Cage that felt like, oh my god, this is a Nicolas Cage thing. This totally feels like, I totally see why. And he's done that before. He just takes movies because of paychecks, like The Old Way and some other films. I mean, he has some really shitty films on his resume, and he's such a great actor that I want him to stop doing those. Especially if if you're gonna put a number on it, you have to stop saying yes to everything, and like just sort of announce to the world, and let those directors come to you. Let directors who haven't had a chance to work with you yet really have seen your sort of renaissance recently, like in Pig, and the in like Massive Talent and stuff like that, come to you and be like, hey, I really want to work with you. How do we make that happen? And give you actually a really decent, solid role. Don't just say yes because of money anymore. This is okay. This would be a very light fresh from me. It would be like a 6 point something if I was a tomato meter critic, but I'm going to give it a C plus. Anyway, if you think Arcadian is amazing, good for you. If you think it's bad, great. Let me know in the comments. I think mostly this film was carried by the boys, Jaden Martell and Maxwell Jenkins, who are reliable young actors, who I'm looking forward to seeing more from in the future. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.